All right, so I'll just go through some of the basics with you. So this is the main screen of the program. Off to the left here is our navigation pane. The shortcuts field will move you to lots of different common areas of the program, like your work orders, scheduling, our work approval, etc. These arrows will move you between the different orders estimates in your system. If you wanted to search by order number, you just come in here and punch it in, and that would pull up that order. If you want to search by customer, you can come in here and select that customer, and it will pull up any orders or estimates in the system for that particular customer. The Jobs in Progress button will give you a dashboard overview of all the jobs that are in production, as well as the various status indicators to tell you exactly where that job is at in your production flow. And then I guess I'll just walk you kind of through the basics of taking an order and how everything works. So I'll just click the New Order button. It's going to ask us some questions. So first thing it wants to know is what type of order it is that we're creating. Now this list of type of orders, you can add your own items to it or remove types of orders that you don't do. I'm just going to select screen print, and then it wants to know if it's a job or an estimate, and if we're doing it in-house or we're contracting it out. I'm just going to leave it to an estimate for now. So essentially that's just going to give us a blank order entry form. We click on the customer name field. It's going to give us a drop down of all of our existing customers. If this is a new customer, we can just start typing in this field. I'm just going to grab just a random existing customer. And then we can go into our product ID field and grab whichever items that they're interested in. We have most of the major vendor catalogs already in the system, so I'm just going to grab a G2 type.
So you have like S&S Activewear,
yep,
Sanmar.
Yep.
What's the abroad or what's Augusta? What's that other one? Abroad or what is that other one we use?
I'm going to show you the ones that we have here currently. So if we come on here and say updated list of vendors, these are the vendors that we currently have for download: Sanmar, AutoCap, Trimount, Alpha, SNS, and Staten.
Okay.
And if it's a vendor we don't carry, you always have the ability to enter in your own products as well. And when we pull up this G200, we'll just see only the colors that are available for this particular product. I'm just going to dump in some quantities. Now, doubles and triples cost a little bit more than small through extra large. If we put them on the same line, it'll average the cost across these pieces, or we can put it on its own separate line so the customer can see the difference in price between the doubles and the small through extra large. And then down here we can put in our embellishing fees. So I'm just going to keep it simple on this. We'll just go, it's a one color left chest.
Okay, now let me ask you this.
Yep.
Are those y'all's prices, or can we put our prices in there?
Yep, you can put your own. It comes with default pricing in here, which works off of a couple different factors, and I'll show you how kind of all that works. So the very first thing it looks at is the product itself. So this product from Alpha is costing us $2.80. It's doing a 40% markup and a 75-cent ship charge, which is giving the customer the starting point of $4.67. We then have another markup that is in the pricing grid that is a markup that fluctuates based on quantity. Now, some companies will use both the baseline markup and this markup based on quantity. Some companies will use one or the other, and you can essentially just zero one of them out if you just want to use one of them. But this will come and look at this order and say, at 60 pieces, it's going to drop to 48 and charge another 60% as far as marking up. And we can kind of see that. If we take the print colors out and calculate the order, all we're going to see here is just the product and the markups that are associated with that product. And then once we throw on our embellishing fee, then we'll it'll pull in our actual print price. So in this case, at 60 pieces with one color printing, it's going to look at our grid here. It's going to revert to 48, one color printing, $3.60. So it's going to put $3.60 into this on top of the markups that we already applied to this product. And of course, all of that is customizable. You can have as many pricing grids as you want. You can assign pricing grids to specific customers. And that way, when you grab that customer and assign them to an order, it will automatically default them to that particular pricing grid. So if you have pricing grids for nonprofits or contract printers, et cetera, that you can create as many of those as you'd like. So now, that's basically how the pricing kind of on the back end works. Now, this estimate here, let's assume the customer was okay with the price. We can now send out a piece of artwork for the customer to approve. So when we click on our screen print art button, it's going to show us the art that's associated with each location on this order. There's nothing in there yet. When we hit Get Art, this will show us the customer's library of artwork, which you will build up over time with their various pieces of artwork. And you can store in here mesh counts, ink colors, your print order, thread numbers, things like that, along with the design. And then when we select that design, it will come back and attach it to the order and attach it to that specific location. From here, go ahead.
Real quick question on that. So whenever you're, whenever you click on Get Art and it pulls up that option of all of the art for that selected customer, putting those in each, are you just pulling like a PDF from like an Adobe file?
Usually it's some sort of image format. So if we just come in here and say Insert Picture, that will kind of show us the different image formats that it supports. So really just any image format, JPEG, bitmap, TIFF, PNG, Windows Metafile, EPS, any of those types can be stored in here.
They don't use AI files?
No, you shouldn't put the raw files in there. You should at least save them as like a JPEG or something like that, because the whole idea is to put kind of low-resolution images in here to give a representation, but not to put full-fledged production files in here.
Oh, okay.
So then once we've attached that, we can create a proof and send that off to our customer. So if we come in the Create Proof section and we were to email this off to our customer, they essentially get a link. They click on that link. It's going to open up the design in their browser, and then from there they can choose to approve it or to not. Just to kind of show you what that looks like, I'm going to hit Preview. We're going to drag this over onto this monitor. So when the customer clicks on that link, this is what they're going to see. Generally, it's an image that's mocked up on a shirt, not just a PriceIt Software logo, but they would come in here and they can either decline the image, which if they do that, it will allow them to push notes back to you on why they decline that image. Or if they approve it, it'll ask them to initial the approval. And that will update everything in the system back in PriceIt once they do that.
One question. Once you just okay, I see up here at the top of the screen where it says email right over here.
Yep, exactly. And then back in the order entry, we'll notice that the left chest indicator has turned to green, and down here underneath is turned to approved into green to let us know that that piece of artwork is been approved by the customer. And to kind of manage those proofs as well, we have this art proof section here. And if you click on this, you can see all the proofs that you've sent out, and you can search them down by their various statuses. So show me everything that I've sent that's waiting for the customer to approve. Show me everything that the customer has not approved, etc. And you can use this to kind of manage the different proofs that you're sending out through the system. So on this one, let's assume like they're good with the price. We've sent out the piece of artwork. They've approved that artwork. We can now come over here and change this estimate into an actual job. So I'm just going to hit Convert to Job. It's in-house. And that's going to update the system. And now this is an actual job in the system ready for production. So generally here, like the next thing that we're doing at this point is ordering the products. So we integrate directly with Sanmar and Alpha's websites. So if you come on to our garment purchasing, and this section will show us all the different products that we need to order for. Generally at our shop, I come in here and hit Create Report. And this will look at all the open orders and break it down by vendor. And then if you wanted to order these products, you simply just come on here and say, send to Alpha. And what that will do is that will take us to Alpha's website. It'll log us into Alpha's website. It'll find that particular product, and it will try to add it to the cart. And if it's able to, like there's no hitches, everything's in stock, it'll let us know that, hey, do you want to set this stuff as ordered? And we'll say yes. Back over here, if we check in our cart, we can see the items we were looking for have been added to our cart. I'm just going to clear our cart because this is our real cart. And then when we continue on to the next screen, it's going to give us a job breakdown. So this screen generally gets printed out and goes back to receiving. And then when the boxes come in from Alpha or Sanmar, they're able to break them down into their respective jobs.
So one question for you.
Yep.
Can this be accessed from more than one computer?
Yes. Yep. That all depends on how many users you sign up for. So essentially, like when you purchase the program, it comes with one user, and each additional user is $15 a month. And how we kind of handle users here is it's simultaneous connections to the program. So we do have cases where customers will sign up for 3 users from us, but have me install the program on 5 different computers. It just means that out of those 5 computers, only 3 are allowed to be on the program at the same time at any given time.
Okay, so like I've got a partner that lives in Terrell, Texas, or Campbell, Texas, and I can have him on there too.
Yep, exactly. And if it's somebody like, a lot of cases, like the owner will want it on a laptop, so he can check things from home or from being out on the road, but he's not going to be dialed in and connected to the program 24/7. So in that case, you can kind of have a floating license, and knowing that he's not going to be occupying that license or that connection to the program, all the time.
Okay, that's where he's going to be at. It would just be that one of these deals to where he don't have to call me and give quotes. He can go on here and get this and save a quote and be like, hey, I've got this right here.
And all of that updates seamlessly. As soon as he opens it up on his computer and he puts in that order or does that quote, you'll see it on your side and PriceIt as well.
Perfect.
So now we notice here too that our status indicators for the ordered and checked in have turned to green, so we know that the product's been ordered, the product's been received, this one's pretty much ready to go. We also have status indicators for other things, like if we come in here and we can set the artwork is being done, so the artist has completed the artwork, screens have been made. If you do deal with like teams, names, and number lists, you can come in here and enter in that data, and then these status indicators will change as well to let you know that there's additional personalization on these items. And that's kind of the gist of just taking an order into the system and how the pricing and everything works. There is a lot more to the system. I just kind of go over briefly some different things that it can do. So we support 3 different payment gateways: Authorize.net, Payflow, and PayJunction. If you have one of those payment gateways set up, you can enter the credentials for them in PriceIt, and then you can process credit cards directly through the system.
Did you say gateway?
Yep, exactly. And that also allows you to use, like we have an additional add-on feature called Paylink. And what Paylink will allow you to do is when you send off your invoice to the customer, you can include a secure link in that email. And they click on that link and it takes them to a web page and they enter in their credit card information and they place their payment. As soon as that payment is processed, it will update and PriceIt and mark that order as paid. Some other things is that we integrate with QuickBooks. So if you're using QuickBooks as your accounting software, rather than having to enter orders into PriceIt and enter payments into PriceIt and then turn around and enter those same orders and payments into QuickBooks, you're able to send the invoice and the payment directly from PriceIt over to QuickBooks with the click of a button. When we do send that data over to QuickBooks, it's not to the level of detail that you would see in PriceIt, because the idea is that PriceIt is holding all that data and you're invoicing your customer out of PriceIt, and you're really just pushing that information over to QuickBooks to keep the financial aspects in sync. And you can kind of get a preview of what that data looks like by clicking on the costing. So you notice, like in QuickBooks, we'd have a line for garments, $510, a line for printing, $200, a line for screens, $25. It's not going to break it down with like style numbers, sizes, colors, etc. All of that data is held from right within PriceIt. And so you can see what that looks like. If we go to view invoice, you replace this header with your own header, but this is the invoice that the customer would see from you. You can choose to show a thumbnail of their artwork on there, and we have different views for like a larger notes field, artwork, credit card authorization, payments that they've made on this particular order, etc. As well as like the work orders. So the screen print work order would be what would go back out to production, which gives them the detail of all the items, also gives them a thumbnail of what's being printed, as well as your ink colors, your mesh counts, or anything else that you stored along with that design in that customer's artwork library. It integrates with UPS as well. So if you have a UPS account, you can plug your UPS credentials into the system, and you can pull up the UPS tab and enter in package information and ship directly from the program. When you do that, it will return the tracking number, it will return the UPS label, and it stores that all along with the order. That way, if there's any sort of like discrepancy in the future, or the customer doesn't get one of their boxes, you can easily pull up that order, see every box that you shipped, see the tracking numbers for every box that you shipped. If you click on the email button, it will email that tracking number off to the customer. Some other cool areas of the program is like our list section, which just kind of breaks down various lists of jobs not done, invoices that haven't been paid, orders that you haven't sent over to QuickBooks. History is a quick search tool, so in here you can say, show me orders that we completed last month or this month or last week, and it will give you a breakdown of all those orders. That's kind of the basic gist of it. There's a few more things I think that we should touch on, like the scheduler. So if we come in here and took this job and we schedule it for today, and then we move to our calendar, this will show us all the jobs in a month view that's scheduled at your shop. If you click on it, it'll pull some brief information about that job down here. It's drag and drop, so if you want to reschedule it, you can just drag and drop it around. And we have month, week, and day views. And on the day view, you can drill it down even deeper to block out jobs to run for specific times. So this job's running from 10 o'clock till noon, and then the screen printing job is running from noon till 2. We also have a lot of reporting features in the program, so we don't really try to be like an accounting program since we're integrating with QuickBooks and they have that handled pretty well. But there is some financials and different things that you'd like to see at a glance within PriceIt without having to switch over to QuickBooks. So you can run sales reports, you could run comparison graphs to kind of see like how much of your business have you done this year in embroidery versus how much you've done in screen printing. You could run sales tax reports, tax on mistakes, misprints, aging reports to see who owes you money, things like that. And that's kind of the basics of the system. Again, there's a lot more to it, but I usually try to keep the demos fairly simple to not overwhelm people. And generally with the system too, like it's good to start using it, start putting some mock orders in it. Don't worry about what every little button does, and then you kind of grow into it over time.
So all this over here, that's right here where it says tax.
So you can tax, in the program you have the ability to tax certain lines and not tax other lines if you want. Generally here at our shop, you're either taxing everything or taxing nothing. But let's say you had screens in here as a line item and you didn't want to tax that, or you had digitizing or something entered in here as a line item, then you can choose to not tax that particular line. Same thing goes with your add-on charges down here. So we have a section here for add-on charges, screens, press setup, shipping, administration. Some of these fields, basically everything to the left of the total, are definable. So you can set your own labels here for your own add-on charges if you'd like. And then your divided into order section over here is a little bit different. So if we have $25 in screens on this add-on section at the bottom, when the customer views their invoice, they will see screens $25. The divided into order buries it into the piece price. So if they want an all-inclusive price and you don't want to charge setup fees and stuff like that, you can take these setup fees and essentially put it into the divided into order section and calculate it. And we'll see each of our pieces will get a little bit more expensive, but on their invoice they don't see that they're being charged that particular add-on charge.
Okay.
You always have the ability to, until you get your pricing fine-tuned, which a lot of companies will do until they get their grid set up, you can always come into the price override and say, hey, I want to charge $10 a shirt. Calculated, that will ignore any markups or pricing grids or anything that you have set up and simply just charge, whatever you tell it to charge there.
Okay, so when we send this invoice, it'll have all our information on it?
Correct. Yep. You would replace it. Essentially, you just draw up your own header here, and then you would replace this header with your own logo, and that will, let's see if we have a secondary one. I don't know if we do. No, it doesn't look like it. And then you would fill it out with your own, you just draw it up in Corel or whatever your drawing program is, and then you can stick your own header in there, which would have, your company name, your address, your phone number, etc.
Okay. funny.
Any questions? Anything? Are you guys using any software currently? Is there certain areas that you're having trouble with, looking to overcome?
We're using pen and paper, and we're overwhelmed. And we have 500 folders on the table, and we're going from completed to incompleted to back ordered to oh crap, we don't even know where that's at.
Yeah.
To be real honest with you, and we are. So I got a partner that lives in Campbell Terrell area, and he was in the process of going to have a guy build something for us like this, and a buddy of mine told me, "Hey, you need to check into this," and so I checked into it.
Cool. Is that buddy of yours a customer of ours, or?
No, he actually is looking into it himself.
All right. Cool.
I think he had an appointment the other day, and he said he missed it, and he said he had to reschedule it.
Okay. Yeah. So this will definitely help with that because it keeps the history of every aspect of the job in the system and makes it very easy to pull that data up at any given time, see what they ordered, how many they ordered, what you charged them for it, what artwork you used. All of that data gets stored right in here.
Okay.
Training.
And let me ask you this: is if we buy this, is there a little bit of training that goes with this?
Yes, absolutely. So a couple different methods. So since the program is subscription based and you're paying a monthly fee, that gives you access to the program, updates to the system, vendor data, and tech support. Actually, me personally, I'm not the marketing guy. I'm the tech support guy. So if you have any troubles, get stuck anywhere, need help, you just give us a call. We don't outsource anything. We run our own servers. We run our own print shop. We do our own tech support. We do everything. So chances are you're going to get a hold of me. And with the same software that I'm using to do this webinar, we can also use that software to remotely log into your computer, so we can go over any areas that you get stuck and give you training, remotely via that. We also have a members area section of our website that has written tutorials, it has training videos. It also has a link to our PriceIt Software user group, which is just all PriceIt Software customers. So you can also bounce kind of just random things off from other people in the industry that are running software, like how do you deal with this specific customer, or how do you deal with this specific print job or this process, and you can bounce it off other people that are in the industry as well.
Okay.
And you
said this. What does this cost month? What is the cost on this monthly?
So there is two different versions of the program. There is a starter version and there is a master version. The starter version is kind of scaled down and doesn't have all the production bells and whistles that the master version has, and they're priced differently. And on our pricing page on our website, it kind of lays out what the master does that the starter doesn't do. But essentially, it's for the master version, it's $120 a month for your first user. There's a $5.95 setup fee. That includes this $120 your first month in there, and then it's $15 for each additional simultaneous user.
Okay, so you're pretty much telling me the best one to do is the master.
Probably, I don't know the scale of your shop, but generally the starter edition is kind of for your smaller mom and pop shops or people that are hobbyists that are doing it out of their garage and things like that. They don't really need production schedules and various different enterprise things in the system.
So we don't really need the scheduling as much as we do everything else.
Yeah. So, some things that you lose that we can see here on this is you would lose the production scheduling, you'd lose your artwork approval, doesn't handle inventory, purchase order, packing slips.
I think we would need artwork approval.
Yeah, I mean that's huge because you can send it out on the fly and get updates immediately as the customer, approves artwork or disapproves artwork. And I can't stress enough too, especially for new guys, that like if you do end up going with the software, we're a smaller company. We want the software to be successful for you. So anytime you get stuck, we're here to help out. Just give us a call. I mean, it's all included in your subscription.
Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No worries.
The Shopify integrated, what's that?
Yep. So Shopify does like these online web stores. So if you run these web stores through Shopify, people will be placing orders on those websites. And rather than like having to go into Shopify and downloading a manifest of orders and then having to hand key them into PriceIt, you're able to pull a list of all the orders that are in Shopify and click a button and import those orders into PriceIt. That way you're not having to do double entry, making it a bit easier to get your orders from Shopify or from your web store into PriceIt itself.
Okay, so go down a little bit further and
Yep.
let me see where product scheduling, and see we really don't, we're not that far out on product scheduling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then assigned tasks, sales rep logins, artwork approval. Artwork approval probably. Yes, that's. Yeah, we're just going to go with the bigger one.
Yeah, we find that most do. I mean, the starter, we probably have maybe a dozen shops or so running the starter and probably 200 plus shops running the master version. So the master version is definitely the more popular of the two.
Okay.
The people that we do having starter are like, a girl that's doing embroidery out of her house with her single-head embroidery machine, where she doesn't really, all she's really using the system for is quoting out jobs and retaining that job history.
Okay.
It has to be down here where it said 25. This one said 15. This is 25.
So, can you go down on there?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, we do have some add-on features. These are optional, so you're not automatically paying these things. The additional connections cost $15 a month, but Paylink is an optional feature that you can turn on. That's the one that allows you to send out the invoice with a secure Paylink. So it's one of those things with reward versus cost thing. So if people are calling you all the time trying to pay for orders with credit cards, this can free up a phone and free up a worker if they can just shoot them off a link and they can pay via that link. The customer web portal is kind of more of an industrial feature. So it's like basically what that does is, let's say you have a customer, you do work for Pepsi, and Pepsi's sending you 50 orders a week, and you're having to pay an employee, to sit there at the computer and enter in all those orders into PriceIt. You can set up a login for that particular customer, and it's kind of limited login to the system, but it allows them to go in, check the status of their orders, create reorders, pay for orders, things like that, and you can kind of offload that onto them. So it's more for if you have a customer that you're doing a large amount of work for, or even if you have like a contract customer that you're subbing a lot of stuff out to, or a contract customer that's subbing a lot of stuff out to you. That way you're not having to take these emails that they send you and work orders that they send you and re-enter them into PriceIt. You can essentially make them enter in their own orders, and they don't have to call you and say, okay, where's order number 100? Where are we at with that? They can log right into the system and see exactly where it's at.
I got another question for you here. For the Paylink, is that with Gateway, or is that different?
So the Gateway is a requirement for Paylink to work. So the $25 a month goes to us. The Gateway and your credit card processor have their own fees associated with them. Generally, I find that the Gateway is pretty cheap compared to what the credit card processing is charging you. So like for us here, we have Heartland as a credit card processing company, but we use Authorize.net as our gateway. Usually we're getting bills under $30 a month from Authorize.net, and then bills like $1,000 a month from Heartland. A lot of companies will already have Authorize.net. I don't know if you have like a website where people can place orders and things like that via the website. I've found that a lot of companies that have like a web store or a website set up are already using Authorize.net to handle the payments. So if that's the case, then it's as simple as plugging in your Authorize.net credentials into the program.
Who are we using? We're using Hey.
Okay. Yeah.
What? Who's our e-commerce?
E-commerce, or no, TSIS is who it is. We're actually, I was on a phone call this morning, and we're looking into that gateway.
Yeah, yeah. If you have another company that's like some sort of e-commerce company that's running your website, chances are, like Authorize.net is the biggest one out there that I've seen. Like most people use that one. They may already be using that to handle their back end order processing.
What about, so we have a website where we're selling hats that we use Shopify.
Yep.
It's up top.
It's already up top there.
Yep, we integrate with that. So essentially, you click a button, and you can see a list of all the orders that are in your Shopify system based on whatever date range criteria you put in, and then you click on the ones you want, and it will import them directly into PriceIt.
Okay. Alrighty, so we're looking at today we're looking at, what did you say,
$5.95 is the setup fee. That includes your first month. So basically, if you signed up today, let's say you signed up for 3 users, it would be $5.95 plus 15 times 2 plus $30. So $5.95 plus $30. But that depends on how many additional users you're signing up for.
Can I just add 1 user?
Yep. So the 120 covers the first user, and then if you wanted a secondary user, it would just be $15 more a month.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If he's a floating user, we have to log out of our side for him to use our stuff?
Correct. Yep. What would happen is if you went single user, but we installed it on 2 computers, if you had it open, let's say on the main computer at your shop, and then a secondary person tried to log in, it would say, hey, you've exceeded the maximum number of users, call PriceIt to add more users. But if you closed it down on your end, then he'd be able to get in.
Pretty much a done deal, Matt, huh?
And for $15, I think, just give Chad his own.
Alright, so I need to add, do I talk to you? Who do I talk to?
To sign up?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can talk to me. I can